Hi, Lindy. It's Aunt Marilyn. I thought we'd take on a different project today just using a pencil and an eraser, okay? I'm going to show you how to draw a realistic cat. Lots of times we draw cats that look more like cartoons, but I want you to try to draw this one so that it looks very real, okay? And we call that realistic art. So I'm going to take you up to the 4 steps you do to get started, and then I'll show you how you finish in the final picture, okay? So we're going to move up to block number 1. So take your paper and divide it into four pieces. And block number 1 is just a basic circle, which is what we start with as artists to draw a cat, okay? Do it nice and light because you'll see we change things as we go on and build up the color of the darker pencil shades, okay? Now we're going over to number 2, and in this one I want you to take notice that the eyes in a cat, they're not up high, they're not down low, they're just about go right across the middle of the circle, okay? And notice that the eyes go up this way, they're slanted up. Cat's eyes go that way. By the time we have them finished, they'll look more real. And what's this little triangle here? That's just to show you that his nose isn't up in the middle here, like we see it in a human's face. He has a snout. So at the base of the snout, which would be down lower in your picture, you put a triangle, upside down I call it, and then just put a little ridge along the end of it to show that's the end of his nose, because his nose is a snout with that little black nose on the end of it usually, okay? So there's your basic shapes you want to start with. And then we move on to number 3. Number 3 is a section where you put his ears on, okay? Now, our guy is going to be turned a little bit to the side, so you're not going to put 2 ears on that are absolutely perfect. This one's going to be bigger because it's going to be closer to us, and things that are closer to us get bigger, and things that are further away get smaller. So with his head turned, this is further away. So we've gone ahead, we've already got his eyes, and we've got the triangle. And I just want you to put a few lines down there to remind yourself that this is the snout of a cat, okay? And where his mouth comes out. So it's not up here, it's not a nose, it's down here underneath his little triangle nose, okay? Then we get to do his ears and just wrap them up nice and high. And notice how I brought the lines down beyond the edge of the circle. That's to show you that the cat isn't flat. The cat is, his head is actually a sphere. So we're trying to make things look real and in 3 dimensions. What we do is we layer things or overlap them. So his ears aren't sitting on top like a headband. They're sitting down a little bit lower, so we're going to bring in the lines lower, okay? Now we're moving on to this beauty. Now it's really starting to look like a cat, isn't it? And that's your number 4. So with number 4, we're going to put a little extra shape into the ears. And notice, if you look back at number 3, we had harsh lines showing here from the circle. We're going to take those lines out because a cat doesn't have lines under his ears. Put a couple little accent lines in again to show the shape of his rounded head. One this way and one that way. And then you can fill in his eyes. Now remember, the actual eyeball is like a marble. It's round. But we're going to do the shape of it round. And then remember, we're putting eyelids on it that are going to take away from the round shape and almost make it an oval shape, okay, within our slanted eyes. And then we give him a little droop at the side of his eyes, and he starts to look like a cat. And now we put a little bit more defined mouth underneath. And remember, we rubbed out those heavy lines that were underneath his ears. And I always like to take out a little bit of the side so there's room to put real fur in. And the fur isn't competing with those heavy lines that we used in our initial sketch to build up the picture, okay? So then we're going to go to the finished one. So you've done these ones. probably spending a couple of minutes on each one. But now this one's probably going to take you half an hour to finish. If you go slow and put the lines in the right direction, I'm going to show you how to shade and add interest with a pencil, okay? So here's our finished cat. And again, it's all from number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We've got all the good stuff there, the placement of his ears, his eyes, his nose, and his snout. Now we get to put the fur in the direction that it grows on the cat and lays on a cat, okay? So we've got it going softly down the front of his forehead, branching out from both sides of his nose. This is a fluffy Persian cat who's kind of bearded, got lots of fur, fluff here, even a little bit of fluff up on his ears, and the fur on his head stands up. And then we go back to the picture and remind ourselves that we don't want everything to get lost in all these lines, that we've done carefully. It's not mucking going all over the place. It's got to be the specific direction, okay? And if you look back, you'll want to emphasize the shape of his bottom of his snout, where his little nose button is. And you'll want to emphasize, by making it darker, his ears and across the top of his eyes. Eyes are always important in a picture because that's what you want to look at the cat and make it feel that he's looking right back at you, okay? And in saying that, I always put leave a white spot right in the middle of his eyes, because his eyes again are like marbles, and marbles aren't like a flat piece of white paper cut out. They have shape, they're spheres, and spheres bounce off light, and that's where you get the bright spot in your eyes if it's in a camera, or in the cat's eyes if you're drawing it and you want it to look real, okay? And keep his snout a little defined, so I'm just going to go over some of these lines that are a little bit darker and defined. His eyelashes there, and the line down his snout, just so that those parts stand out and are more important than all the furry lines in the background. And they'll stand out because they're a dark color, okay? Which is your dark pencil where you press a little bit harder. And then you can do a little shading with your pencil around if you put your pencil off on the side and just want to give it a little soft gray tone like I did. You can just rub your pencil in there. But at the end of the day, you've got a black and white cat that looks very realistic, okay? And in your journal, because you know how we like to do the journal, we're going to say goodbye to the cat and hello to our journal page, which is Wednesday the 8th. And in our art class, we drew a realistic cat. So have fun doing that. Take your time, okay? This isn't a scratchy project. It's about putting all the lines in the right direction. Okay? Look forward to seeing your cat. Give him a name. Let me know who he is, okay? Bye-bye now.